busiest transfer window, I would say, so far in this season.
Sometimes you're a fire, sometimes you're a ghost. Sometimes you can give me all the things that I love the most. Sometimes you're a queen, sometimes you're a curse, and sometimes a whole lot worse. Yeah, nobody's quite like you.
Hello everyone and welcome to the start of season 3 of Blue Hell Worldwide here on Shaun Does FM, and today we are going to have a look at the business that we did in the past transfer window, and we've also got our first games competitively of the season against Eintracht Frankfurt over 2 legs as we try and get a leg up in Champions League group stage qualifying. So if you're looking forward to it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and enjoy what you see here on the channel, also remember hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. So we are in late July, more or less smack bang in the middle of the transfer window, but I'm pretty sure we've done most of our business heading into this upcoming season, albeit there is one that I'm going to get out of the way early, and that is Yusufa Makoko. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get him back on loan, which is a little bit frustrating. We're going to keep trying to get him on loan because the bids are being accepted by Dortmund, but he doesn't want to come here at the moment, so must be getting promised some first team football at Dortmund. You look at the scout summary, it says that he's still very interested in coming back here on loan, but he's turning down our bids at the moment, even if we give him star player, important player, regular starter, been trying everything, but he doesn't want to come at the moment, which is a little bit frustrating, especially considering how good he was for us last season. So it's a little bit of a bummer to start today's episode, but apart from that, I think we've made gains in the rest of the squad for this upcoming season, which does start with this Champions League qualifier today against Eintracht Frankfurt. Another player that we did miss out on was the right winger that we looked at in yesterday's episode, the analysis one, which if you did miss, I will leave a link to above my head in the top right corner. That was Oliver Batista Meyer. We put a bid in for him for a free transfer. He would have been really good to try and improve that right-hand side, especially as he would have immediately been the best free kick taker at the club. But unfortunately for us, he chose Wolfsburg over us in the same tier as us over in the Bundesliga. Probably a slightly stronger team if we have a look at Wolfsburg, if we can, and we look at the season preview once we get to it. Clunkily I do. Wolfsburg predicted to finish 8th, so I suppose they're a stronger team than us, can understand, but that would have been a really good get in the transfer window. If we had got him and Makoko, this would have been a near perfect transfer window for us, but the two Germans just couldn't quite get them, unfortunately. But as I said, we still have made a lot of strides. Our busiest transfer window, I would say, so far in this save, and the one that's had the most upheaval in and around the first 11 that we're going to be starting the season off with here at Sporting Kansas City. So the first player to arrive at the club in this transfer window was Gianluca. This was a player that we picked up a little while ago, could not join us until this most recent transfer window. A Brazilian left winger who can play in and around the other areas in the front half of the pitch, but more than likely is going to end up being an inverted winger on that left-hand side for us. You see, he's got some pretty decent stats already for 19 years old, good potential ability, and he has joined us on a free transfer, has Gianluca. Off the back of that, we had our first sale of this transfer window, and it was one of our backup centre-backs who, to be fair, did perform pretty well whenever he was called upon in the first team, but with the amount of young talent we've got coming through, which we'll show you guys later on before we get into the first game of today's episode, it felt like it would be a good time to let this guy go. Nicolas Isamat Miran, we sold him for 3.8 million euros to Al Ali, so he's gone down a few divisions to the Serie C. Should be a very good centre-back at that level. As I said, was pretty good for us when we did call on him, but at 30 years old and with the amount of young talent we've got coming through here at Sporting Kansas City in that centre-back position, felt like it was a good time to offload him as he wasn't a regular starter, get some decent money for him while we could. So Isamat Miran has gone to Al Ali after 2 pretty decent years here when he was called upon at Sporting Kansas City. And off the back of that, we sold another centre-back. This one did not have much potential, not as much as we thought he would when we did first sign him. That was Callum Semple. Got him on a free transfer, have sold him to Cotton Sport for 110,000 euros. So a little bit of profit there for the club for a player who was never really going to feature for the first team. Then off the back of that, one of our biggest signings in the club's history in terms of monetary outlay anyway, we spent 8 million euros on a new goalkeeper. I mentioned this in yesterday's episode. I thought it was an area we could definitely improve him from the likes of Tim Melia, and we have brought in Ezekiel Unsane, the Argentinian 27-year-old. You can see very well-rounded goalkeeper, should be very good for us. Hopefully a good improvement on Tim Melia with that extra star current ability and some good potential as well. He was at Defensiva y Justicia in Argentina. 2 good solid seasons there to start off the save and looked like a good upgrade from what we had in goal. You can see he's getting a few player of the match awards, so must have some good ability, a big upgrade on what we already had, and was really the most suitable option considering the price we would have to pay for him. There weren't too many other keepers at this level who we could afford to bring in to improve the squad. So Ezekiel Unsane, our new first choice keeper here at Sporting Kansas City. And then we brought in a young centre-back. This is Auden Bjørtuft, who comes from Norway. You can see he's 1.88 metres tall, a very good marker, good solid all-round stats, and a notable improvement on what we had already at the club in terms of the players that we owned. Another player who's a full star, better than anyone that we have at the club of our own. Sepp Vandenberg is back. We brought him back on loan, but he's still a better option than him. Unfortunately, he did an injury not long after he arrived, a double hernia, albeit he is already suspended for UEFA Champions League matches anyway, so he wouldn't have been playing in today's game nonetheless. But this is a guy I really hope can prove to be a rock at the back for us in front of Unsane, and hopefully improve our defence. Not that it needed a heck of a lot of improvement, but certainly looked like the area of the pitch where we could improve quality-wise, and hopefully Auden Bjørtuft could do that. 14.75 million euros he's valued at. We bought him in from odds for 10 million, the biggest transfer in the club's history. A couple of solid seasons over at odds, and hopefully he can bring that form here to Sporting Kansas City. And on the same day, we said goodbye to a player who never really thrived under me here at Sporting Kansas City. It has to be said, Gutty Kinder. We lose a bit of versatility by signing him, but he was a player who just never seemed to do it for us. You look at his stats, he was pretty average. His first season was decent when he was getting some more regular minutes, but once Felix Metcher came in last season, he fell down the pecking order during that first season, started to become a backup to Daniel Shallowy anyway. Then Metcher came and overtook him as well, and for a player in the reserves, he was worth a little bit too much money for us to be keeping hold of him, and did struggle in the limited games that he had for us last season. Did seem like a player on the decline. So Gutty Kinder is gone off to Paco de Ferreira in Super League 2's Primeira Liga. So a slight drop in tier for him, but a tier, as you can see from that first season, he can perform well. And Gutty Kinder gone for 2.4 million euros. Yeah, as I said, just a player who for some reason we just couldn't quite get the best out of here at Sporting Kansas City. Then we bought in a right winger to try and help add some depth to that position and hopefully improve there, given that was the area where we didn't match our XG as much as we would like to last season. Hopefully this guy can do the job for us. He will overtake Johnny F. and Russell as the starting right winger, and that is Rashid Ghazal coming in on a free transfer from Leicester City, a good end of contract pickup after we couldn't get Oliver Batista Meyer. This guy became the obvious choice for us. He's here on a pretty big wage, 35,000 euros a week, but valued at 22.5 million euro. 4-star current ability and potential. He's got nice green stats all over the park and should suit the inverted winger role as the best free kick taker at the club, although not much of an improvement on what we already have, but is a significant upgrade on Johnny F. and Russell. So hopefully we'll see Rashid Ghazal bang in a few goals from that right wing spot this season. And off the back of that, it was a bunch of sales to finish off our business for now, mostly reserve players as well. First off, James Boot, a player who we bought in on a free, wasn't really going to live up to what we hoped he would, so we sold him to Siena for 25,000. Next up, Danny Barber, 24 years old, was never really going to feature too much for the first team again, didn't have the potential that we needed. He has gone to Gazalek Ajaccio for 115,000 euros. And then we finally, after about a year of trying to get rid of him, got rid of Kerry Shelton, a player who also fell victim to that right wing curse we seem to have with XG. Really underperformed it in the first season and never really recovered, more or less lived in the reserves last year. He has gone to Dinplo 1 for 675,000 euros. And the last sale that we made in this transfer window for now anyway was Enoch Mushagalusa, a player who had decent potential when we first got to the club, but as we've improved things over time, his potential ability compared to the rest of the squad has dropped as well. So we let him go to Monarchis Morelia for 325,000 euros. So with those changes in mind, this is what our team looks like going into this season. There's a few players in the reserves who can step in when they need to, but a few names are missing from last season, obviously because of sales, namely Gutty Kinder, but also because of young prospects coming through. And that's why the likes of Johnny F. and Russell are not actually currently in our first rotation, and the same for Graham Zusi. So we've demoted a few club legends for now. They're still at the club, will still get minutes when we get injuries, but we're going to try and give the youth a chance, and hopefully they can usurp those players ability-wise. And in one case, they already have, to be fair. That's why Emmanuel Thompson is on the bench ahead of Johnny Russell. They are very similar stat-wise, and with the potential that Emmanuel Thompson has, I'm hoping he can be a good backup right winger for us. Only 17 years old, was the leading goal scorer in the Youth Euro Cup last season. And as you would have seen from yesterday's episode, we did struggle to put chances away in that right wing slot. So with that in mind, being the Youth Euro Cup top goal scorer, even with that 10 finishing, I'm hoping he might be able to get a few goals for us, and definitely has the potential to become a really good option for us on that right wing. So Emmanuel Thompson is in the first team as a backup to Rashid Ghazal. There's a few young options at the club who are more or less the same as Graham Zusi now, both Jalen Lindsay and this man, and this guy looks the best of those 2-star rated backup right backs that we do have here at the moment. This is Jonas Leishoj, a player who we bought in last season, I believe, for a free transfer. He's followed in most of the areas you need for a wing back and has that 4-star potential, a little bit better than Graham Zusi these days, especially physically, and has very good determination. So he is our new backup right back, Jonas Leishoj, and a player who's going to get a little bit of game time while Odin Bjortuft is recovering from his double hernia is Noah de Quilos. We bought this guy in last season as he was a very good aerial centre back, only 1.85 metres tall, but 16 heading, 14 jumping reach, something I like the look of a lot. The 19-year-old Swiss man has got pretty good stats for a centre back, 2.5-star current ability already, so it's slightly ahead of our homegrown talent Diego Coronado, and 5-star potential. So while Bjortuft is injured for this next month or so, he's going to be in the rotation team, Noah de Quilos. But this is more or less what our starting 11 looks like going into the season. Obviously, Fontas would come out onto the bench and Bjortuft would come into the starting 11 when we're at full strength, but we are not at the moment. Once you do that, it's a pretty nice looking team. The worst player would apparently be Vandenberg or Iyongo in our starting 11, or Pulido. So it's pretty good depth that we're starting to build here now at Sporting Kansas City, and we might even be able to eventually nag Yusufa Makoko for coming back on loan if he doesn't get the minutes that he might be expecting at Borussia Dortmund to start the season as well. But Alan Pulido was pretty good for us last season, as was Anthony Reyes. I didn't actually have a look at him in the end of season review because he was down in the reserve team, but he is a player with really good promise, up to a 2.5-star ability now, really good finishing. He is back in the mix and hopefully will grow to become our own wonder kid striker here at Sporting Kansas City. Obviously, not the likes of Makoko levels, but he was pretty good when we used him last season. Hopefully, you can keep that going this time around. So that's our team going into this season. I think it's a pretty strong team. We do look better than we did last season, Makoko aside. In terms of season preview for the Serie A, we are expected to finish 18th in the season preview, although if we go to Club Info and look at the media prediction, it is 8th, albeit I think that was made when Yusufa Makoko was still at the club. So looking like they are expecting us to be a sort of mid-table to bottom-table team. Slight improvement from where we were expected to finish last season, but hopefully we can go a little bit better than last season and maybe try and win the league and get promotion to the Premier League. And we'll see if we have time to get a season in there before Football Manager 2022 and the beta comes out. But it's time to see what this new team can do. We've got Eintracht Frankfurt over 2 legs. They're a team over in the Bundesliga division, expected to finish 6th in the season preview, and this league does look a fair bit stronger than our one as well, so it's going to be tough for us. Hopefully we can do well enough, albeit we are using these games more or less as preseason friendlies, and we're just going to see where we end up. I think just try and get some decent rotation here and get everyone fit leading into the start of the season, but it would be nice to make the Champions League this season after our good little run in the Europa League to get to the round of 32 last year. I'm not too sure which competition I'd rather be in. I think we'd have a better chance of winning the Europa League, but if we could make the Champions League, that would be quite nice as well. So not too fussed about these games, but it's the first couple of games of the season, and we may as well show you guys these as well as the transfers. And we're going to be playing our strongest 11 available considering injuries and suspensions with pure tough. So hopefully we can get a good result in this first league anyway, and then we'll see what rotation we need to make for the second league away from home in a few days' time. But we'll come back shortly from Children's Mercy Park and see if we can get a decent result here against Eintracht Frankfurt in the first league. And here are the team sheets for this first game of the season. Ours is exactly as I showed you guys before. No need to go through that. In terms of Eintracht Frankfurt, they've got the likes of Trapp and goal. Libika Kache, the very promising New Zealand left back, is on their team. What I would do to have him on ours, but unfortunately he's a bit too expensive for us here at Sporting Kansas City at the moment. Haven't been able to use him this FM, which is a little bit of a shame. Couldn't get him at the right time in the Hexagon Challenge either. Maybe we can try and get him come Football Manager 2022. They've also got the likes of Emil Forsberg. It is a very good team they have there at Eintracht Frankfurt, so we're certainly up against it, but hopefully we can at least keep it close in this home league. 44 minutes gone, and we have the first highlight of the game as we start to enter the 1 minute of added time. A very quiet first half, albeit Eintracht Frankfurt definitely dominating things stat-wise, although there's a good ball for Ambloise Yongo from a tight angle, forces a decent save out of trap. Rashid Gazal tries to keep this ball and will play it over for Wintle. Here's a shot blocked back, and Polito blocked. A couple of good chances late in the first half for us there, as we do keep possession in our half, and this will end the first half. So a good little late flurry for us there. A couple of good chances, couldn't put the ball in the back of the net though, and then we end up with the higher XG, but truth be told, pretty average first half. We'll try and get the boys to fire up a little bit more going into the second period of this first league, but it does remain 0-0 in this Champions League first round qualifier. 46 minutes gone, an early free kick here to Eintracht Frankfurt. Forsberg with the ball in, but the header goes wide, and still it remains 0-0, although now we're down the other end for a throw of our own. If we can get a decent result here, we might have a chance after the home league, but I think it's going to be tough for us away, especially with the short gap. We're probably going to have to call upon some rotation players. Really nice ball there for Busio. Polito chips the goalkeeper, and Alan Polito back in the first team starting and back in goal scoring form. That's exactly what we want to see without Makoko. We really want our strikers to at least try and perform up to his level. They're not going to be able to, but if they can do half as well as Makoko, we should still get decent results here at SKC this season. Really nice ball from Busio to set Polito up, and we're 1-0 up with 40 minutes to go. Okay, 57 minutes gone here. We're going to make our first change of the season. Felix Metcher only on a 6.3. Daniel Shalloy can come on for him. And we have a corner shortly off the back of that substitution, and it's Alan Polito charging onto that. Not sure where he came from. He's supposed to be on the edge of the box waiting for the ball there. So not too sure what's happened corner-wise, but he's absolutely charged onto that and headed that in the back of the net. And after 13 minutes of the second half, that's a really nice header from Polito. We go 2-0 up. Gazelle with his first assist. 64 minutes gone here. We're going to make our second substitution. Matt Olasunde on a yellow heart and a 6.4 rating. So this is going to be Jonas Leishosh's first taste of first team football. And with 16 minutes left, Rashid Gazelle, after getting an assist, is tired now on a red heart. Emmanuel Thompson to come on for him. But nothing has happened since we got that second goal of the half. We are over referee's time, and we pick up a pretty nice 2-0 win. In the end, it has to be said, Eintracht Frankfurt definitely looking the better team stat-wise, but somehow we end up with a 2-0 win in the first leg and give ourselves a chance of getting something out of this tie, albeit expecting it to be a lot tougher for us in the away leg. But that's a good win for us, largely thanks to Alan Polito's double, but his first goal was set up quite nicely from Gianluca Busio. The second one from a corner put in by Rashid Gazelle. That's a pretty good solid start to the season for us there, beating Eintracht Frankfurt 2-0 in the home league. And we'll see if we can keep this advantage in the second leg as we travel away to Eintracht Frankfurt. And team sheets for the second leg, Eintracht Frankfurt on the left, looking fairly similar from what I can tell. A few changes here and there, but mostly the same core of the team. In terms of us, we have been forced into a few changes. Unfortunately, Ezekiel Unsain has picked up a stomach bug and can't play in this game. So Tim Melia comes back into the team. Hopefully he can perform well, because Ezekiel Unsain had a pretty good first game for us in that first league. Also coming in is Noah De Quilos, Remy Walter, Jake Doyle-Hayes, and Emmanuel Thompson, all thanks to tiredness and players who haven't quite recovered sufficiently from the first league a few days ago. But hopefully we can pick up another decent result and maybe make our path to the Champions League group stages a little bit easier than it otherwise could be. 4 minutes gone, an early throw in here for Eintracht Frankfurt. They will be looking for revenge after they were somewhat upset in that first league, and they did dominate that game stat-wise as Libby Kakache puts out for Toure. Marquillas, his shots blocked. We clear that through Vandenberg, but they are on top of us earlier, but still we have that 2-goal advantage from the first leg, but we are now 8 minutes in. They have another throw in a good area of the pitch. Will be interesting to see how some of our defence cope, most notably De Queiroz, and unfortunately there, I think he might have let that one slip through. Macias gets a goal for Eintracht Frankfurt, and they are right back in this at 2-1. It's the perfect start for Frankfurt. So with the ball in there, just gets down the wrong side of De Queiroz, I believe that would be, into the bottom right corner, and we go 1-0 down early, but it's still 2-1 up on aggregate. And they are starting this game on absolute fire. Eintracht Frankfurt, another throw in a good area of the pitch. Toure puts that in, but it falls straight to Tim Melia, hoping for a good performance from him today. He pumps that deep, but unfortunately gives it straight back to Frankfurt, and Toure pumps this long. Good header from De Queiroz, as you'd expect with him being probably best in the air compared to other areas of his game. Polito with a ball over the top, trying to pick out Emmanuel Thompson, but it ends up falling to Jovalic. He puts it out to Burkok, and they are now looking to get right back on top of us again here. Eintracht Frankfurt starting this game off very nicely. Paulinho with his shot. Maybe Tim Melia should be keeping that out, but it had too much power on it. Ends up in the roof of the net, and they have equalised this tie after 11 minutes of the second leg, and we have to give the boys a bit of a demand more here, I think, because they are all over us early. We have done very little, and they are absolutely bossing us. Mealy gets his hands to it, but just can't quite do enough to keep that out the back of the net, and it's 2-2 after 10 minutes of the second leg. 15 minutes gone, and it's Eintracht Frankfurt with a corner now. De Queiroz deals with that first ball, but Deme gets it back. Good tackle there from Thompson. We'll just keep the ball. Hopefully we don't do anything silly here and might be able to get something going ourselves to try and get back into this, because at the moment all of the momentum is with Eintracht Frankfurt. Macias with a chip over Tim Mealy, who ended up in absolutely no man's land. They're not too sure why he rushed out for that. That's probably cost us a goal. Bit soft at the back again, though, it has to be said. Our defence not performing well today, which is a bit concerning. And Dicker with a ball over the top. We just step up, gives Macias a lot of space, and Melia, it's a simple chip in the end. Some pretty poor work at the back from us there. And very early on in the second leg, Eintracht Frankfurt get the lead 3-2 on aggregate. 18 minutes gone, and Eintracht Frankfurt on the ball again after we try and get something going forward ourselves. Paulinho over to Sal. What can he do? Over to Deme. He makes his way past the man. Over to Barkok. Good touch from him to get past. That would have been Olasunde, and then it's a shot from Macias. Forces a good save there from Melia to prevent his hat-trick. They have started this game off like an absolute house on fire. Have Eintracht Frankfurt. They put the corner in. Olasunde will deal with it, and they are still coming forward here. Deme makes his way down the right, puts the ball in there for Barkok, just outside the box as we try and stop this momentum. They've got good foot in there, though, from Doyle Hayes, and we'll try and get going forward, but we do prevent it for now. But they are all over us early, 3-2 after 20 minutes of the second leg. 22 minutes gone, and it's a free kick here for Eintracht Frankfurt. Plenty of highlights in the second leg, and that's another little bit of a letdown there from Tim Melia. 40 got to that and could have kept that out, but in the end, too much power on the strike from Paulinho again, and he also gets a double. Melia, yeah, should be keeping that out, truth be told. He's done pretty well to get to it, but poor effort with his hands, and we are now 4-0 down on the day, 4-2 on aggregate, as we just throw the ball away there from a throw in a good area of the pitch. So it's really all crumbling for us in the second leg, unfortunately, as Barkok makes his way down the right, and we could be in for a bit of a pasting here, it feels like, unless we turn things around. Ball in there for Jovalic. Dejan Jovalic gets his name on the score sheet, and we are down 5-0, more or less halfway through the first half. And I think we're going to be entering the loser qualification rounds of the Champions League, much like we did last season, hoping this isn't going to end up being too much of a morale herder, but a good header there across goal. Gets past Melia. Not much you can do that time, but we're getting absolutely pasted here. 5-0, and it's not even half hour through the second leg, and now they got a corner here, which they put in, and that forces a decent save there. Amelia, in fact, it came off the crossbar all over us. 5-0 down after half an hour and 5-2 on aggregate. And a free kick now for Eintracht Frankfurt. We try and deal with it. We do, and we do clear it away, but Deme is going to get it back after taking the free kick. But this has been a pretty miserable game from us at the moment, truth be told. Very much a letdown after that good first leg that we did have, and now it's Barkok who's causing us quite a bit of trouble down that right-hand side. Plays it in for Toure. Jovalic in a lot of space at the far post. This time they missed target, and still it remains 5-2 46 minutes gone, and we might have a chance to try and get back into this game, although they do deal with that quite nicely. Do Frankfurt, and then Jala with a poor touch, and they're on the counter attack again. Paulinho, great chance to make it 6 that time. A very good save from Melia and a good foot in there from Vandenberg as well. And I think we're going to keep this at 5-0 prior to halftime. 5-2 on aggregate. Unfortunately, Polito gets fouled there. Toure with a pretty cynical one, and that is going to be halftime. And that was pretty awful, truth be told. 5-0 down. We have done absolutely nothing. Eintracht Frankfurt getting a bit of revenge after the first league, I think it's fair to say, because stats-wise, they are the better team in that game, and they are the better team without a shadow of a doubt so far. So we're going to have to make some changes going to the second half here, I think. Both of our wingers are having absolute stinkers, albeit maybe I should be looking at the defence more than attack, but they are on 6.1 and 6.2 ratings. So Shaloy will come on for Metcha and Gazelle for Thompson, and hopefully we can do something a little bit better in the second half, but we are really up against it now. 5-0 down on the day, 5-2 down on aggregate. And we have a highlight straight from the restart, which hopefully is going to fall in our favour. If it doesn't, then this could get embarrassing. Marquinhos, nice ball over the top, gets that past Melia. And we are shocking today. That's his hat-trick. Fair play to him, but we look terrible. 19 seconds into the second half, and there's no improvement at all from the first. Tuta up to Paulinho, just a long ball forward. Well-timed run there, and he gets it past Melia. In the end, our defence just giving him far too much space. He's too quick for us or something. And we're 6-0 down, 6-2 on aggregate. And now a corner to Frankfurt in the 48th minute. It's a little bit of a chance there for Sal. We deal with that somewhat, but they are just absolutely dominating us today, it has to be said, looking a far better team. And yeah, as I said, probably after some revenge from the first league where they would have felt like they deserved a win from that game, we got a little bit lucky with our chances. Nice ball over the top there from Maki Us, and they make it 7, and it's only been 48 minutes. This is getting really embarrassing now. We are just getting absolutely spanked, and I don't know if there's much we can do to change it because we've already made 2 substitutions. Toure plays us out for Barkok. Just a wonderful little curve ball there, gets past our defence. I believe that's de Quirlos. Again, unfortunately not having a good debut. And yeah, we're in all sorts of trouble here. 7-2 with 40 minutes to go. And after 51 minutes, we're going to make our last substitution. We may as well try it. Amblois Ayongo, only on a 6.0 rating, will bring Louis Martins on for him. But more hope than expectation, really. I think we're going to be losing this game pretty heavily. Is it 7-0 and 7-2 on aggregate with 40 minutes to go. 57 minutes gone here, and we have a goal kick. Eintracht Frankfurt still all over us, just had a goal ruled out for offside. In fact, just cutting for us like a hot knife through butter today, and we are soft butter at that, so they're just destroying us, it has to be said. But we look to get on the attack here. Gazelle, he plays the ball over the top for Shaloy. They do cut it out, and now they look to get on the counter-attack themselves. Good slide tackle there, though, from Jala, and now we look to play out from the back and hopefully get something going, because I don't think we've had a highlight in this game yet in our favour. So if we can get that, we'd have a little bit of pride out of this. A little bit iffy play from the back there, though. That's a nice ball for Kakache. Over to Marquinhos. This time he hits the post, and a good slide tackle there from de Quirlos to keep him from putting the rebound in. Ball over the top. Vandenberg deals with it, but they are just smacking us at the moment with half an hour to go. It's still 7-2. And thankfully, the second half's been a little bit quieter than the first half was, but we've done absolutely nothing in this game attacking-wise. They have just destroyed us in this game. This is going to be a game that we're going to have to try and pick morale back up from. I think there's a chance for Polito to get one back, though, but his shot is a pretty easy save in the end for Trapp, and it does remain 7-0 on the day. 7-2 on aggregate. Thank God we got some goals in that first league, because this would be real embarrassing otherwise, but we will still have a chance to try and make our way into the Champions League through the losers round. But yeah, that's a really disappointing end to this tie for us, especially after the first league. We did look quite good. Maybe some of these players need a bit more first team football before they truly are ready for this level, but we'll see what we can do with these guys. We may as well stick with them, because what we've got in the reserves is only older versions of the quality that we've already got there, so we may as well try and give them some time so they can improve. That's a real disappointing second league after being 2-0 up. They absolutely pumped us there, Eintracht Frankfurt, and we will be entering the losers qualifying path for the Champions League after they defeat us 7-0 in the second league and 7-2 on aggregate. So yeah, fair to say that was a disappointing start to the season, at least in that second league anyway. Absolutely pumped by Eintracht Frankfurt, but what we've got coming up Off the back of that is a loser first round tie against Sampdoria, who are over in League Off. We have a quick look at them because I don't think we're going to show that game on camera. They are predicted to finish 9th, so potentially a slightly worse team there than Eintracht Frankfurt, and hopefully we can pick up a decent result against them and at least try and match what we did last season, where we got into the second round of that losers path when getting knocked out there and entering the Europa League. But that will do it for today's episode, the transfers, and then some pretty disappointing stuff in that second leg of that tie against Eintracht Frankfurt. In terms of when we'll be back, as I said, I think I'm just going to skip over the rest of this qualifying stuff and we'll see where we end up. I want to try and get through the season somewhat as quick as I can, and then we'll see if we have time for one more season here of Blue Hell Worldwide before the Football Manager 2022 beta does come out. But I think what we're going to do is come back for the start of the Brasileiro Serie A season. I think we'll focus on that a little bit more this season, depending on how those cup runs go for us. But hopefully we can do a little bit better than last season and try and earn ourselves the league title and a place in a promotion playoffs. So we'll come to the start of the season, because those two games do look quite tasty, against second place from last season, Palmeiras, and then Santos, a team who are more or less up there for most of the season last season. So some good teams that we've got to try and take on early on in the league season here at Sporting Kansas City of our second season in the second tier of this World Super League. But if you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you enjoy the series and haven't done so already, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow, when we're taking on Palmeiras and Santos in the Serie A, and hopefully by then we'll also know whether we are in the Champions League or the Europa League. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.